Hey Moon lovers, welcome to another episode of All Things Moon, Lunar Wisdom for Everyday Life with myself, Kelly Jones. And where have I been? I do apologise. Since the last time I saw you, I was laid up with some kind of cold bug thing, which made me feel quite poorly. In fact, both of us here, both Tom and I, Tom came home from work just over a week ago. He came home early from work saying that he just couldn't finish the day because he was feeling like he was coming down with something. And then by the next day, it was both of us. So we were literally like, a lump of goo, little caterpillars, like lumps of goo, waiting to become butterflies in bed for a few days in a gooey mess. But, sometimes we need to completely be out of action so that we can restore ourselves, have a little rethink about how we're doing things and how we're going to go forwards and upgrade our health plans. And, we've got an absolute abundant supply here of herbal remedies and things that will keep us healthy. And sometimes those things wane a little bit, just like the moon. And the moon is waxing towards a full moon at the moment. So in accordance to that, our health regime is waxing and becoming bigger and fuller, due to the fact that we haven't felt so good. Today, actually, I am very disappointed, but I should have been at rehearsals, technical rehearsals, dress rehearsal, and then the show tonight for my street dance class. And anybody that knows me, nothing gets in the way of my dancing unless I genuinely am poorly or I'm out of the country, I'm on holiday. They're the only things that will ever stop me from dancing. And this week I did have to admit defeat because I have actually this term missed 2 classes. The first one because I was away, and the second one because I was poorly and I missed rehearsals last weekend. And this week I probably could have swung it. I am a good enough dancer. I've got enough experience that I probably could have swung the performance. But a whole day spent in a school with kids from, lunchtime until this evening, waiting around, was not going to restore my energy. It wasn't self-care. It wasn't self-love. I did have to put myself first this particular time. I think if it had been our pantomime that we did last year at the big theatre in Chelmsford, where we had the mayor coming, I probably would have pushed myself to do that and not let everybody down, because that was a much bigger deal. But this is a little showcase this evening, and I'm sending love and positive vibes out to my teammates who are dancing this evening and wishing them all the luck in the world with that. And I am there with you in spirit, even if I'm not there physically. But anyway, where is the moon today? So the moon today has moved into the sign of Cancer. We are in this last phase just before the moon becomes full. So we had the last quarter moon on Tuesday, Wednesday, that was in Taurus. And now we're in this waxing gibbous moment before we become full and illuminated next week, next Wednesday, that's February the 12th. And that will be a full moon in the sign of Leo. And if you've been following and listening and learning and writing it all down, then you will know that a full moon is always an opposition to the sun. So wherever the sun currently is, whatever season we're in, so we're still in Aquarius season, the sun is still drifting through Aquarius, in the Aquarius airiness, and by next Wednesday, the moon will have aligned in a complete opposition in the opposite sign of Leo to Aquarius. So oppositions are always this kind of, which way are you going to go? Are you going to go really Aquarius, or are you going to go really Leo? So the energy of things that are being illuminated for us at this full moon are all things Leo. And where we find our balance for that is in the sign of Aquarius. But what else is happening? So, as I said, today the moon is in Cancer, and we have the waxing gibbous moon phase. And so, this particular point, before the moon becomes at its fullest point, that culmination point, that end point before it starts to wane towards becoming new again, is a time where we are looking at refining anything that we've been working on since the new moon. So refinement, preparation, fine details. So as the moon keeps growing and you can see more and more and more of its surface, our focus is shifting from the initiating actions of new to perfecting. Not in a Virgo way, so not being over perfectionism, but doing our best, fine tuning what we've been working on, not just throwing it out there without a care, but taking care of it, looking at the details, making sure we've gone over things, progress, analysing our progress, making necessary adjustments, um, fine honing our path towards our goal, whatever goals those might have been. And whenever we come into a new moon or a full moon, new moons are always time that we think about setting intentions, starting again, the beginning, looking at what house area that falls in for us, and maybe starting and setting our intentions in that area. And with a full moon, we're looking at the culmination of that. Where have we got to? What's being illuminated? What is it that's maybe not working for us at this point that we just need to release and let go as we go towards the next new moon for the last part of this cycle before we become new again? So because the moon is in Cancer today, we may get, it's the sensitive sign. So we might be feeling a little feely. And as this, we're ruled by the moon, Cancer is ruled by the moon. So as the moon is growing larger and stronger, we might get this sense of overwhelm, being caught up in the details. So we want to kind of borrow some of that Aquarius energy that we're in at the moment. It's still Aquarius season. So how can we, with care, with gentleness, detach ourselves from being overly emotional, overly sensitive, and maybe apply some logic to the finer details when we sit down and look at them? So today's a really good day for that. Next couple of days, actually, is a really good time for maybe practicing something that helps you practice finer details. So maybe if you draw, maybe you doing pencil and filling in the detail of the painting, of writing not just the outline, but starting to write some of the actual detail in the chapters. So it is the best time right now for refinement, fine tuning. I think I've made my point. Also, as you focus on the adjustments, perseverance. Perseverance is a word that's come up quite a few times this week. So aligning closer to your intentions. a little affirmation that you could repeat. So I think it's probably a good idea if you are feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all the details of everything. I know I'm not a details person, I'm a big picture person. And as we come into this full moon in Leo, I know that it, as a Sagittarius rising, this is going to be appearing in my ninth house, which is the big picture. And that's where I'm much more comfortable with the big picture. I'm not so comfortable with the finer details. So I can get very overwhelmed if I look at everything all at once and see it all there. So to sit down and deliberately take some care to gently detach by sitting and quietly meditating on what adjustments need to be made, writing them down, and maybe repeating an affirmation of I am constantly improving and moving closer to my true self. I am constantly evolving and moving closer to my true self. Using some clear quartz to help with clarity of thought. Burning some or applying some eucalyptus, peppermint oil. Rosemary is really good for focus and memory. And maybe some lavender mixed in with all that to help with you have a sense of calm focus. So a journaling prompt which would be really useful for this moon phase is what progress have I made and what needs to be refined or adjusted? Get your journal out, sit and quietly meditate. Just for a few moments, doesn't need to be a long time. Tune into how you're feeling, but then see if you can become the observer of the feeling. That gentle detachment that Aquarius can do. They can actually do very cold and cutting detachment, but anyway. Using some clear quartz and some helpful oils to do it so that you can stay calm as you look at the finer details. And maybe get creative, bring your creative side out to help you practice finer details. So, a full moon, as I said, is always in opposition to the sun. But this particular next one has got Mercury conjunct the sun. So Mercury, which is to do with the mind, Aquarius, which is to do with the mind. So we could get really caught up here for this full moon. So we've got the sun in Leo, the moon, in Leo, shining very brightly because it's got the sun opposite in Aquarius. We've got Mercury next to the sun in Aquarius. So we've just had this Mercury cazimi. So when when a planet literally crosses the sun, it's called a cazimi. So it's almost like a rebirth. So we've got a very new Mercury, a very curious and childlike mind and thought going on there. And they are forming a square to the planet Uranus. And Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So we've got this quite strong Aquarian, Uranian thing going on here. Now, Uranus is still currently in the sign of Taurus, which represents the Earth. So this suggests to me, I sat and pondered on this, what does this mean? Moon in Leo, opposite Sun in Aquarius, square Uranus in Taurus. But it suggests to me that this full moon is illuminating how being our true, authentic self is the way that we truly help change the world. So this has come to me quite a bit recently. because there's so much going on in the world. We're going through this massive shift. There's a lot of, read all about it, headlines. Even the astrologers that don't buy into it are still having to talk about what's coming up, and there's no getting away from it. We are in this completely unknown time of unprecedented change, where so many of the big planets, as I talked about in the last episode, are shifting signs this year. Planets that take a really long time to come round to the same point again are coming round to that point. There are some points they're coming round to that we don't know that they've been there before. If they have, it was so long ago, there is no recorded history around it. So as we step into this, what do we do about it? Well, I really feel that if this truly is the age of Aquarius, and Aquarius is like to be different to everybody else, the genius mind, the futuristic, is about how we think, is about thought, it's air. And then we've got the fire of Leo, and Leo is our fullest expression. How can we fully express ourselves in the world? A full moon, Leo loves to be in the spotlight, literally shone on by that full moon illumination, to be center stage. And that doesn't mean necessarily that we're all going to want to be center stage. Imagine what chaos that would be if everybody wanted to be at the front, in the middle, in the spotlight. But if we look at the fact that Leo comes from the heart, and if you listen to Pam Gregory, astrologer, at all, if she says it once, she said it a million times, that the only way that we can really safely go forwards is to go forwards from here. If we keep stuck up here all the time, thinking, our thoughts cannot, sometimes are not true, or our thoughts, we are creating thoughts, our fears, we're creating them from here, and we need to drop down into here, into what is true, to what is real, to fully express ourselves from our heart center, who we really are, authenticity, Aquarius, the world, the earth, Taurus, Uranus, maverick, revolutionary change. How maverick and revolutionary would it be if we all worked on ourselves and became our true expression of ourselves, and gave permission to others to do the same? And that grew and grew and grew, and we all led from our hearts. So another thing that's happened this week, so on the 4th of February, the 3rd of February was Tom's birthday, by the way, and it was a bit of a flop because we really still didn't feel too well. We managed to do something relatively nice with the day. But anyway, the 4th of February was my best friend's birthday. And on that day, planet Venus, moved out of her exaltation, where she's been floating around happily in wonderment in Pisces, and she has moved into Aries. And as soon as we hear Venus in Aries, it makes me think of a warrior-ess, that fire with the Venus, that goddess energy, beauty, love, how we value ourselves, the beginning, Aries, the pioneer, Aries, the leap of faith, Aries. It's the beginning of the zodiac story. So Venus has a chance to begin again, begin a new story in how she values herself, because Aries is all to do with me, the I am. It's also to do with money. And as you know, I've been working my way through this Wounds to Wealth book, and have plenty of time to think about it because I've been lying around for a week. So this Mars retrograde in Cancer, yes, Mars is still traveling backwards. Oh, well, giving the illusion anyway, or the appearance of traveling backwards. It certainly feels like it's backwards to me. Completely put me out of action. Mars retrograde in Cancer, the Cancerian in the home, lying flat on her back. I mean, this is like literal, isn't it? But with all of that going on, the wounds that we carry around how we value ourselves, because our beliefs around money and receiving is to do with how we value ourselves, with our self-worth. So these are all things to be thinking about as we come into this full moon phase. We've got fire, Leo. So we've got the moon fully illuminated in the fire sign of Leo. We have Venus in the fire sign of Aries. So we also got Mercury moving into the sign of Pisces on Valentine's Day, the planet of communication in the most romantic sign of Pisces. So we also have had Jupiter on the same day that Venus moved into Aries. Jupiter finally turned direct. So Jupiter has been retrograde in the sign of Gemini since last year, October time, and it's finally started to turn direct. And remember, Jupiter expands everything, and it's still in Gemini, so it's expanding things to do with communications, because Gemini is all about this. Geminis love to talk, they love gossip. It's to do with short trips, early education in general, very much general knowledge. It's about knowledge, not necessarily wisdom. Wisdom is your Sagittarius, your Jupiter. But Jupiter expands on that. So, and it's starting to move forward. So it's starting to be able to take action on anything that this retrograde has been doing. So Jupiter is to do with our beliefs. So where have we been looking at our beliefs? So you see where I'm coming from here. So it's time to take action in what you might have realized about your beliefs. So just sitting there realizing it is part of the healing. But then we also have to take action. We've got to go and actually do something to change these beliefs. We've got to practice a different way, saying things differently out loud, catching our thoughts. If we're literally like a stuck record and it is a pattern and a program that's running, who can we go and see that can help us with that? Is it an EFT practitioner, NLP practitioner? My friends that do the DTO, that do the opposite technique, anything like that, hypnotherapy. What can you sit and do for yourself? So if at the moment you're really under receiving because your money beliefs are really getting in the way, how can you sit and work and learn some stuff to help you shift your mindset? What are you saying to yourself on repeat? What can you practice on repeat and get into the habit of that to change things? So back to this full moon. Leo is, as I said, being the full expression of himself. And the sign of Leo is like fifth house subjects. So it's about play, it's about being creative, it's about joy, it's from the heart, it's dance, it's the spark of you that ignites others. Is about your whole self, bringing your whole self. So when I practice Strala Yoga, one of the principles of Strala Yoga is to bring your whole self, to be your whole self, not trying to be like somebody else, to fully get to know and understand yourself better and better and better. And through astrology, I've been making even more discoveries about my own self and things that in my childhood, in some of these wounds that I've discovered around wealth, that have installed as being a problem for me, something that I shouldn't be like. And then as I'm studying my own birth chart, I'm realizing that those things, if I can change that and I can fully become that, that is the thing that will bring me what I should be receiving. It's the full authentic expression of myself. Is, you can all look at me and think that, oh God, how can you be more you, Kelly? But there are ways that I am not utilizing that for myself. I've been allowing it to be against me rather than for me. And I know that if I can fully jump into that I will be helping you in return. So watch this space on that. But again, Leo, full moon in Leo, full moon's like a mirror. It's shining at us. And a full moon in Leo asks us to look at ourselves fully in the mirror and from the heart say, I love you. And notice, where has your light been dimmed? Where has your heart been crushed? Where has your impact in the world been diminished? Where has your party been pooped? Where has your bubble been burst? All things to sit and ponder on with your journal. So I'll be diving into all of that a lot deeper, with a lot more detail, a lot more journaling prompts on Wednesday the 12th. So live, online, on Zoom, I will be holding a full moon in Leo ceremony for you, for me, for us, so that we can get together and support each other and connect and learn and grow together. And so that will be UK time, 8 till 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday, the 12th of February. If you can't attend live because maybe you live in Australia and it's too early in the morning for you, then or if you're in America and you're in different time zones, then you can still sign up and you will get the recording sent to you afterwards. And you have at least 3 days afterwards to do the ceremony. The energy will still be there, so you can do it in your own time, create your own sacred space, do your own ritual. So that is on Wednesday. And I thought today I would pull us a card. So these are the Good Tarot cards, one of my favourite decks by Colette Baron Reed. It's a really big deck, as you can see, because it's a tarot, it's like 72 cards. And as we saw that pop out there, but it's really hard for my little hands to hold a full deck. But it worked. What did we receive? Wow. So I love it when a plan comes together. So there we go. Can't write this stuff. The King of Fire. So as we come into a full moon in Leo, and I shuffle the deck and a card jumps out for us, there he is with his beautiful heart in the middle, with that glowing, illuminated light around his crown, the crown chakra. So the King of Fire, which is the King of Leo. So the tarot card in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot is the Strength card, which is a woman holding the jaws of a lion open. So I'm just going to grab the book, wherever that is, and read to you. But I mean, what can I say? What can I say? And actually, I don't know if you can see, but can you see all these little sparkles on the card here? Well, today it's raining, so it didn't happen, but I have got a disco ball, but a disco moon, and I have hung it up at my bedroom window. And when the sun is shining, those I get these all over my bedroom wall. And my cat, Indy, she absolutely loves to chase the sun. She goes absolutely mad for the disco moon. So I am waffling whilst I find this for you. The King of Fire. What does he want to say to us? So the King of Fire is a spiritual influencer. So remember what I said, if you're a full expression of yourself, you instantly become a spiritual influencer. You don't need to go on to social media and Instagram to be an influencer. And if you can hear something going on, it's one of my cats. She's playing on the stairs with a ball at the moment, if you can hear a funny noise. Creative Leo, inspired leadership, the King, Leo. When I am aligned with spirit, I am a powerful leader who inspires others. Always a message there for myself as well as for you guys. My mastery benefits others as I teach them directly at times and indirectly at others, modeling what they might aspire to. So this card is totally backing up what I've been talking about. How can I be confident in my own abilities and vision without becoming rigid or closed off to new ideas? Leos can be a little fixed. How can I be confident in my own abilities and vision without becoming rigid or closed off to new ideas? Fantastic. So I hope that has served you in some way. I hope that I will see lots of you on Wednesday online on Zoom for the full moon in Leo, 8 till 9:30 p.m. UK time. You will find that on my website, kellyjones.me. The link to book onto that will be in the show notes. And if not, have a wonderful full moon, and I will see you here again next week.